Shalom Aleichem and Chanukah Sameach. This is Rabbi Trump, and welcome to Chanukah Bytes at the Young Israel of Lawrence-Cedarhurst. Every night we're going to be focusing on one different idea from a different perspective from many of our Torah teachers in the Young Israel of Lawrence-Cedarhurst. Starting tonight, I'd like to focus on a very fascinating Gemara. The Gemara appears in Shabbos Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Beis, which tells us a very curious line. It is a teaching of Rav Huna that Kol Haragil Baner, anybody who excels, who spends a lot of time doing candles, will have children who are Talmidei Chacham, have sagely children. Ner, what kind of candle are we talking about? What's the secret to all of this? Don't we all wish we could know this? So Rashi tells us that it's referring to two types of candles that we have in Jewish tradition. One is the candles of Shabbos, another one is the candles of Chanukah, which you always converge at least once every year. Why? They seem so different to each other. If you think about it for a moment, when it comes to the Neiros of Chanukah, it seems almost the exact opposite as the candles of Shabbos. The candles of Chanukah you're not supposed to gain benefit from. We put them on the precipice, just the edge of our houses facing outwards. In Eretz Yisrael, we put them outside our houses. And then the Chanukah candles, in distinction to the Shabbos candles, we put them next to our table. We're supposed to enjoy the benefit. Even if we go out for a Shabbos meal, we're supposed to come back and eat by the Shabbos candles. They're supposed to be part of our enjoyment. There seem to be such diametrically opposed polar ideas of candles. Why is it that these two are the secrets, says Rav Huna, of having children of Talmidei Chachamim? But perhaps that's exactly the point. The point is that there's two values in tension, and we need to master both. Somehow, to find our place in that spectrum between creating a home which resonates with Kedusha, which is the Shabbos aspect, where there's holiness, there's light around our table, our family, the people that matter most, the priorities in life. And then also balancing that with the priorities of our relationship with those out there. Those who aren't part of our nuclear constellation. Those who perhaps are not necessarily in our immediate sphere of influence or concern. Those are the Chanukah candles, where we influence to shine our light outside as well, not to benefit, but to demonstrate, to shine forth. In order to have Banim that are Talmidei Chachamim, Rav Huna says, balance those two values. Understand the value and the inherent nature of having both of those. This may explain a very fascinating medrash. The medrash says that Avram Avinu kept the mitzvah of Eruv Tavshilin. Eruv Tavshilin, when you're going to cook from Yom Tov to Shabbos, and you're at the second at Yom Tov, and you're going to have the meal, and so you start cooking something on Erev Yom Tov. That's what Avram Avinu kept. And the midrash then says that Yaakov Avinu kept the mitzvah of tchumim, of boundaries. That's the area beyond the settlement, which we're not allowed to walk beyond 2,000 amos, 2,000 cubits on a Shabbos or Yom Tov. Here's the interesting thing: do you really think that's what meaning? Literally speaking, Avram Avinu, he was cooking his eggs on Erev Yom Tov. There wasn't Yom Tov yet. There wasn't a command for Yom Tov. Yaakov Avinu had his tape measure, and he was measuring out how far the tchumim was, going on Google Maps and putting beacons in to work out. Well, what does that mean? The Meshech Chochmah explains that ideologically, Avram Avinu was Eruv Tchumim. He extended his boundaries. He was able, Eruv Tashilin, he was able to extend, he was able to cook, he was able to continue to express and share with the rest of the world his ideas. He was the Chanukah candles. Yaakov Avinu was Tchumim, boundaries. To here we go, beyond which we don't. This is our space, this is what we're going to make special, and we're going to perhaps close out what's around us because it's necessary to be able to survive, to be able to know where our boundaries are. The balance that Yaakov and Avram Avinu were setting was the Neiros Chanukah, the focus on the outside, the Neiros Shabbos, the focus on the inside. Says Rav Huna, if you are able to master those two values, if you are able to master what it means to be a Jew in the house for the house, and a Jew outside the house for the world, then that in fact is the key to education. Education not just for our children, but for ourselves and for our mission. This Chanukah may be a Chanukah where we are able to find that balance in ourselves, in our families, and in our missions. On behalf of Malka and myself, I want to take a moment to wish you a Chanukah Sameach and a beautiful Shabbos, this upcoming Shabbos Chanukah.